Hey guys, Kev here, and I wanted to talk about the Kansept Knives Cosmos. So this is a design from Paul Munko. You guys may have seen Paul's work. He has a bunch of, not a bunch, but a few Kaisers out there, like the Clairvoyant. I think he had one other one that I can't remember that was like a front flip. Was it the Mystic? Did he design that one? I think he did. And really cool designer. I love his style. Very unique. So it's, it's Paul Munko. It's not like, hey, that looks like X. So I really like that. It's got some good ergonomics to it. Always likes the thin and slender, sort of long-ish style knives. And I think that's pretty cool and, again, unique. We do have a lanyard pin on this guy back here. It's sort of an interesting way to do it. You have the backspacer and then just have a pin back there. There's like the backspacer cuts off. It's kind of interesting how that works. It is perfectly centered in there. You have a milled clip attached from the inside, so internally mounted clip, not reversible. This is what they're calling white nebula carbon fiber. This is what I have deemed Chinese fat carbon. This is the kind of stuff we've seen from Tuya on the Mutt. We've seen it on the Kaladin V2 from Tuya. Kansept's been using it. Some of the other OEMs have been using it. And basically, it's China's catching up to the camo carbon and fat carbon craze that we've seen as of late. So that's what that is. It's more affordable for them, which makes the knives more affordable. And then you still get what is pretty cool material. To me, this one's probably the best I've seen. I really was struggling to tell the difference between this and Fat Carbon White Storm. But the stuff you see like this, I don't like very much. The colors, I don't know if they just have too much color. Like there's not enough black in it. Like if you look at Camo Carbon, you'll see there's a healthy amount of that black in there. And I think that gives it more character. If you compare it to the Fat Carbon, you get kind of the same thing. The patterns are a little different. You get that sheen to the carbon where this stuff has more of a matte finish. It kind of, in my opinion, it ends up looking a little more like G-Mascus or something. Here's G-Mascus. I mean, it's not exactly, but like, I don't know. It just gives me that, it just reminds me a little bit of that. Here's the G10 stuff from the, why can't I think of it? Fenrir Lefty. So it's cool. Just not my favorite material. I think this is probably the best I've seen it. It does have a little bit of that shine. Seems like they're getting the hang of it. Not that I really want China to figure out Fat Carbon and replace it, because Fat Carbon's a cool company and they should, they kind of created that stuff. I'd really like to see them get the business, but it is what it is, obviously. So this is the Cosmos, and I'm digging it. It's a flipper-only design from Paul. You have a Vero-style flipper. So what I mean by that is it's an inline flipper. It's basically all in line with the design, so you don't have like a tab sticking out. Maybe you could say a little bit. Vero is the first one I saw do that. That's why I just call it Vero style. And they're the ones who popularized it at the very least. And I like it a lot on this. It works really well. The detent, I was going like this when I got it. I was like, I don't know if that's going to be strong enough. But that's the one nice thing about the inline flipper is you have to pull back and down, like down and out. You have to do this move. And that almost forces you to put a good bit more leverage on it. And you don't even need the strongest detent for this style of flipper. So if you get a nice medium detent with this, it really does fly out of there. If you're going to fail it, it's because you're pinching it, which is not how you're supposed to deploy this. That's the downside of this flipper. You can't really push button it. You're really limited to a light switch, but it's always a really good one. And in pocket, it's way better because it's just streamlined, right? You have a little bit of a Nessmucky look going on, right? You can reverse flick it now. You know, Kansept, Kaiser, when they do these stone washes, they really knock the edges of everything on the blade down, and they don't do hollow grinds at all, or often at least. And so you never have much to dig into when you're working with a knife like this. For example, on the prototypes of our Lush design, it was kind of a similar deal. They just knocked the edges down so well that like it was a little difficult to get your finger in there to flick. So when we went into production, we made sure we made this fuller taller. We asked them to leave it as crisp as they could on the edge of the fuller so you could grab it. You see how my finger's catching it? And so trying to reverse flick this style of knife from Kansept or Kaiser is just tough because of that. It's so smooth, which is normally good, but in this scenario, you want it to be a little rougher to catch your finger. But if you give it enough pressure and maybe a little bit of wrist, you can flick it out. Left-handed, I can do the same thing. They also oil them a lot out of the box, so, you know, wipe it down with some alcohol or something like that, and you should be good. So you could technically call it easy to reverse flick. See, I can do it pretty easy. Thumb flick, not so much. You're going to have to, you know, nah. But you do kind of have another deployment method if you want to learn how to do the reverse flick. We have a sheep's foot blade shape. You guys know I love me a sheep's foot. Let me grab the ruler, aka the measuring tape, sorry. And we're looking at 8 inches overall and 3.6, 3.5, 3.6 on the blade length. Handle thickness is just under 1/2 inch, which is great. And yeah, so I'm really happy with the dimensions on this, the design on this. You know, you can see the jimping on the flipper tabs, same kind of thing. They tumble it, I think, after they jimp it. So you lose some of that sharpness you get from jimping it. And I wish they would leave that kind of stuff alone. But it works. I mean, if I'm not on camera or whatever, I can flip it pretty reliably. But it would be nice if that grabbed your finger a little more. It's nice and soft all down here. You can't get your finger in there to cut yourself or anything. So if you miss, it's fine. But you get a good landing spot. It just feels really good. You got some jimping here. So when you're in this grip, you can lock in on that jimping. And then there's some jimping up there, which is, I would call it Vox style jimping. Now for me, it's almost a little too far forward, but I'm guessing people with larger hands, which I think this knife is for people with larger hands, not for my large glove size hand. This is like a XL, 2XL hand knife. I mean, look at that. It works, but I'm guessing that's why that's out there, so that those folks have a thumb spot. Now I can use it like this, or if I go into a sort of pinch grip, I can put my index finger there and use it so it works. Let's see what else. It's a bolster lock, which is well done. Yeah, we got a sharp corner there, but I've never felt it. This is kind of tucked away. You know, again, it's a little sharp, but it's not, you know, messing anything up. I like how the frame is, or the lock bar is cut out of this right here. That looks kind of nice. Just a sleek design. I mean, it's really, really well done. The steel is S35 VN. Sorry, CPM 20 CV. That seems kind of new for Kansept. So CPM 20 CV, awesome. Didn't even notice that, my bad. They have them on their website, which I will link down below. You can use my link. That will help the channel if you use it. I would appreciate it, but you're under no obligation to use my links, of course. This guy is $199. So you're talking $200 for 20 CV, and you get their fat carbon and titanium. Now, you could argue price-wise, our Divo Knives Lush is the same price, $199. Technically, you could use a coupon when you ordered it, and it was $194. And you're getting the same materials, except this has a machine satin. This has S90V, and it has fat carbon versus the Chinese fat carbon. You get a wire clip instead of milled, but they're both bolster locks. They're both made by Kansept. So, you know, we had these made by Kansept and then sold them. It was a partnership with Traditional Pocket Knives. Kansept is making and selling these directly. So I think they could actually do a little better on the price. They could probably sell these for $150, no problem. But I don't think that $199 is bad. I mean, you know, I think the Lush is a good deal. You know, I don't want to toot my own horn in that sense, but I think that price is very fair. So I don't think this price is bad at all. Pretty much, I'd say on par with what you're seeing from other Chinese OEMs in these materials. Kaiser usually is an S35 yen, they're around 160, right? So if you added 20 CB, you'd probably be close to 200. So, yeah, no problem with the price. Just wanted to chat about it. You have a nice choily area. Not necessarily a choil, but it works extremely well as one. And I really enjoy this hold. It feels really, really good in that grip. Friday night gas station fight, you are locked in. If you put your thumb up here, you basically have a pretty long blade here that you can protect Slurpees with. Reverse Friday night is not bad either. You have the choked up normal saber grip. You have the hammer grip, works well. You have the draw cut, works well. So, I mean, it's very ergonomic. You can see that action. The detent, like I said, is solid. It just drops. Now, I mean, you might be able to say there's a little side to side, but I'm really wrenching on it. If you just do this, there's no play at all. And it's slinging like that. I even tried to tighten it because I was like, man, it's almost 2-drop shut. You know, I kind of like a knife that I have to shake just a little bit so it doesn't just take my thumb off. You know, like the Jaeger here, I swing it down and then a couple of shakes, she's closed. My custom Strix, same thing. Just kind of the way I like it nowadays. But this is a full-on guillotine. So if that's what you're looking for, I mean, you can pop that lock bar and get out of there. And she's coming home. So there you go, guys. That's the Kansept Paul Munko designed Cosmos. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's my favorite design from Paul yet. I like the Clairvoyant a whole lot, but I just don't like button locks. You guys know my stance on button locks or anything with a spring involved. Just not my favorite. This feels really, really well done. The design seems well thought out, and I think he did a great job, and Kansept executed very well. So check out the Cosmos. Link is down below. Oh, one other thing I want to note is these really cool chamfers right here. You can see that. And that allows you to choke up like this and get a really nice grip on it if you were going to use it, I don't know, maybe chopping, or I don't know what you would use that for. But it feels good even in this grip. I don't know if it takes away a corner or something, or thins this out so when you're choked up your finger feels more comfortable, because it is very comfortable there. So that's interesting. But yeah. All right. I love you guys. Hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.